Otis is our Money in the Bank winner for 2020, the men's winner at the very least. And we've already seen that Asuka wasn't actually fighting for a Money in the Bank contract. She was fighting for the Raw Women's Championship. So we've actually only got one Money in the Bank winner now, which is our boy Otis Dozovich. But the question is, and I suppose what a lot of people didn't like about this year's Money in the Bank was that Otis won, and he doesn't exactly scream Universal Champion.
Well, I think he screams Universal Champion more than he screams WWE Champion. I feel like WWE Champion, while they've taken some kind of not risks, but they've put it on people that you wouldn't expect, like your Daniel Bryans and your Kofi Kingstons in recent memory. I feel like the WWE Championship to me says this is the legitimate belt. The Universal Championship, when it was introduced, definitely kind of smacked of that. When your first few winners are people like Finn Balor and Seth Rollins and Kevin Owens, and then Brock has it for ages. But I feel like now, with the transition has been made, the Universal Championship is almost like the gimmick championship. It's the one that belongs to characters with the old schoolist, weirdest gimmick. And so it's going to be on the Braun Strowmans and the Fiend and stuff like that. So I think Otis could be a good Universal Champion. I think he fits that mold of being like, this is just not your typical strong man, best wrestler champion. And I think the Universal Championship can stand for that kind of thing. It can stand for the more cartoonish characters that wrestling can produce, and they can be that sort of champion.
Yeah, because like when he won, you and I did our review of him. We said that it kind of opened up a lot of possibilities because he could either cash in and win, he could cash in and fail to kind of get some heel heat on Ziggler or Sonya Deville or something along those lines, and further her feud with Mandy Rose. He could cash it in on the tag team champions. He could with Tucker, although I think Tucker's out injured at the moment. Or he could put it on the line against someone else and lose it that way. So there opens up quite a lot of possibilities. So I'm more behind Otis winning than I am someone like an AJ Styles, who I originally had down to win and thought was going to win. And so, I'm kind of stoked that Otis is the Money in the Bank winner because I think it's way more exciting. But I kind of hadn't really thought about or considered that the Universal Championship is kind of like the gimmick championship now because it is being held by Big Comedy Braun and has previously been held by Big Wacky Fiend. So
and Big Old Goldberg.
And Big Old Goldberg, exactly. So maybe he could win. Again, it's he's quite over at the moment. He's been a proven ratings draw. So there's not anything wrong with really putting the belt on him. Plus, it's trying something new.
I mean, they love an underdog story, and Otis is a perennial underdog, and I think they like the idea that he's kind of lucked into this position of power in WWE now. And if they want to go the whole hog and pay that off with him winning, even if it's just for a month, I don't see why they wouldn't, because they're desperate to create that Daniel Bryan feeling again. And maybe this time actually do it on purpose. I feel like that's kind of that's maybe their big goal with these kind of things. So I really can see a world in which Otis is a champion. I'm not sure I as a wrestling fan necessarily want that. I quite like the sort of the delineation between the belts of like these are the top belts and these are for this sort of person and this sort of character and this sort of wrestler, and this is the mid-card belt. And maybe Otis could cash in and be an intercontinental champion. I could see him easily being that sort of like the tent pole of the mid-card in WWE. I think he would be great at that. But carrying the whole brand, I don't know, because that's what the Universal title and the WWE title are for. Obviously, the WWE title is the flagship title now that Drew has it, and Drew is the face of the company as far as that's concerned. And Braun is just a safe pair of get these hands to give it to with the Universal title to get it off Goldberg. So, in that world, and where maybe there is a difference in what they see as these two top belts, Otis could be a Universal Champion. I think there's definitely the room for possibility. And I think, I don't know if it's going to backfire if they did it. I don't know if people are going to rail against it.
But you know what? We're in a period of time where we haven't got any fans in attendance, so he can't get booed if he wins it. And the audience is kind of dwindling on TV because no one's really interested in watching this. Raw is posting some of its lowest ratings. SmackDown is also posting its lowest ratings over on Fox in its very short tenure there. So, like, what's the harm in just giving this a go and seeing if it works? If it doesn't, then you take the belt back off him and put it on someone else by the time, the sort of live fans come back into the arena. But you're right. Like, there is that sort of backfire nature of it. It's like, will people just completely revolt against this or not take the belt seriously because the comedy Otis guy has won the Universal Championship? Because he is a comedy character. And is there going to be a huge a huge social media backlash, if you will, against putting what is supposed to be a big title on a comedy character whose finishing move is the worm?
Well, but flip side, I see the reason why they would do that, right? Like, the reason the New Day are so popular is because they shift a lot of merch, and they shift a lot of merch to kids. Like that's one of the reasons why they've been so like high in WWE's. I think just in their books overall over the years, because obviously all the guys are great. They're fantastic performers. They took a gimmick that was not really suited for them and made it their own. And that's why people have kind of rallied around it. But I feel Otis occupies that same space where kids must love him. And with the right kind of push behind him and the right kind of marketing, the right kind of merchandise, I think he's money in that specific sphere that WWE really likes. However, Kofi Kingston from the New Day also became a WWE champion off the back of, a wave of sort of fan push behind him. However, to do that, they had to make him a more serious character. And they definitely did before they started doing that Kofi Kingston push. They put him into the gauntlet match and he took the Mustafa Ali spot and he went really far. And that's kind of what won people over to the idea that Kofi might go all the way and win the championship. But once that had happened, they started to knuckle down on the idea that Kofi was becoming serious again. And he was like, I've been here for 11 years and I've not had any opportunities and I've been held down and this is my time and I'm going to take it. They removed a little bit of the kind of normal New Day, we're just being really silly and having a really good time stuff. So maybe if they did that with Otis here, maybe if there's some sort of revelation on the way to cashing in the Money in the Bank that does turn him from sort of hapless, happy-go-lucky, lucks into a contract kind of character into like, I'm going to be a serious wrestler now, then I think the older crowd would be more on board with Otis being a champion. Because I think the younger crowd would like it anyway.